world and a few coaching conferences, and the very first thing I like to do is to say thank you. To say thank you to all the men and women here coaching. 99% of the people in the audience today are not doing this as a profession. 99% of you people here today are doing this exactly what Jason was talking about. You're doing it for the right reasons. You're coaching young players. And the 1% of the people who are up here speaking, or the 1% of the people in the audience who make a living out of this, we would not be here if it wasn't for somebody at some point in our lives that had a positive impact on us as coaches. So from all of us to everybody here, thank you very much. So today we're going to talk about face-offs. We're going to talk about face-offs, how we can teach them. We're going to talk about face-offs, the value of face-offs, the importance of face-offs. In Winnipeg and in almost every professional team at any high level, and I'm sure some of the levels all the way down to youth teams, face-offs are important. About 2 weeks ago, I was fortunate enough to attend a conference at the NHL Coaching Association in Chicago at the draft. Barry Trotz actually spoke on face-offs. I learned a lot. I saw how much we had in common on our vision on face-offs and how important they are. And I know there are analytics people who would argue against it, and I'm not here to argue with anything analytics-wise about what face-offs are or what face-offs are not. For sure, hockey is a puck possession game. You have the puck, you possess the puck, you're going to be a better team, you're going to be able to make decisions you need to do, you're going to be able to do things you want to do, you're going to be able to create offense, prevent offense. A face-off win, that is the first way that we can get the puck. So it's a puck possession thing in the truest sense. You win a face-off, you have the puck. Something we're going to talk about here this morning as we get going is the idea of being first to the puck. You win a face-off, you're first to the puck, you're able to create. An example of that would be on the power play. If you win a face-off on a power play win, you're able to get the shot to the net quicker, you're able to establish your zone time on a power play. On a penalty kill, winning a face-off on a penalty kill, you're able to buy some time, you can clear a puck and from the D zone, not let the other team get comfortable, not let the other team set into what they want to set, buying that precious time. Hockey, it's a game of momentum. And Barry talked about that. He talked about where he sees the value of face-offs, and he talked about the matchups and icings and being able to have the right people on the ice and changing momentum or getting momentum back, and I agree with him. And if you win a face-off, you're able to dictate the momentum. So in my head, when I was thinking about this, I was thinking, yeah, of course, hockey is a momentum game, and face-offs is something you can do to create the momentum. But it's also about the moments. And there are millions of moments in a hockey game that can change the outcourse of a game. And there's a million moments in a season, or a couple million moments in a season that can change the outcome of your season. So for me, it's about the moments. So I'm not going to argue with the analytics of it and say what is right and what is wrong. I can tell you that face-offs are important to me, and face-offs are important to our team, to the Winnipeg Jets. We track every face-off. We talk about it every day. Our players get clips emailed to them every single day. We look at every team that we play against. We look at their tendencies. We practice face-offs on all 9 dots. So it's important to us. The moments are important. You can win a game. You can lose a game from a face-off. You want to start the game with a puck. You want to start a period with a puck. After a goal, you want to start with a puck. All these moments, that's what I'm talking about. And in a season, there's about, collectively in the NHL, there's about 75,000 face-offs. Each team is about in a season. Of those 2,500, about 800 are power play and penalty kill. So those are individual moments that we want our centermen or our people to be responsible for. And that's a hard challenge. Just think about that. We want our guys to be responsible for 2,500 face-offs. That's 25 individual moments that we expect our centermen or our guys taking face-offs to be responsible. Every moment of those face-offs for us is important. Now, you're going to laugh. Well, maybe not, but you're going to laugh. This is a ceremonial puck drop. And I remember talking to Blake Wheeler. He's our captain. He takes some face-offs for us. This is Wolf Nielsen and Anders Hedberg on a retirement ceremony. And you'll see 2 pucks on the ice here. And I remember talking to Blake after this and saying, Blake, you didn't win both those faceoffs. You're 50% tonight. You got to have those two things. And Blake understood that this was something that we thought was fun and funny, but the story got around our locker room about how important that is to our guys, that we expect every single faceoff to happen. Now, this next clip, Jordan's going to run it for me in a second here, but this is an example of it. This is a minute and 17 seconds left in a game. This is an individual moment. Los Angeles is winning by a goal, and this is on the penalty kill. They just got hit with a penalty. You're not going to tell me that this isn't an important faceoff? Okay? So this is an important faceoff. And don't worry about the faceoff play or anything like that right now. It's just more about the idea of how important it is for the LA centermen to win this faceoff, and they clear the puck. They win this faceoff, they clear the puck is down at the other end, and now they're forcing Minnesota to do something uncomfortable. They've taken the momentum from Minnesota. If Minnesota wins this faceoff, they get the set that they want to have, they can create the offense that they want to have. Face-offs, what does it mean, like when we talk about winning a face-off? Ultimately, winning a face-off boils down to being quicker to the puck. Who can be the quickest to the puck? And it's not just the centerman or the person taking your face-off about them being quickest to the puck. It's a whole collective thing. It's not just the person taking the face-off. And a face-off, that's as close as you can come in a game of hockey to a controlled environment. Yeah, you can talk about a shootout, you can talk about penalty shots, those are controlled environments. But then the actual competitive game of face-off, that is a controlled environment. So we ask our centermen when we come in, we say, this is an ultimate one-on-one battle between you and your opponent. You have to come in there with the mindset that this is my dot, this is my puck. This is what you have to be as a excellent face-off person in the NHL. And you have a clear goal, puck possession. And that might not mean it's puck possession from you winning this face-off cleanly, but it's your team getting puck possession. We come back to that. We talk to our centermen about you are the first line of offense, you're the first line of defense. We talked about those moments. You can win a game or you can lose a game at any individual point in this game, at any individual moment by winning this face-off or not winning this face-off. You're the first line of offense, you're the first line of defense. A lot of us here are coaching at younger levels, so an idea that I've often shared or I heard somewhere down the line is just you're the captain of the dot. And we're going to talk about the dot today a little bit later on, but you're the captain of this dot, so you're in charge of what happens. When you step inside that circle, it's like an MMA battle or a boxing match, you're in charge of this dot. You're the captain of the dot. You're responsible. You need to be surveying the field, seeing what's in front of you, seeing what's behind you. If you don't like what you see, that dot's a reset button. You can hit the reset button to step out, and you come back when you're ready to be the captain of the dot. We talk about that all the time. Everybody is involved in a face-off win. We're going to see clips in a couple seconds here. It's a 5-man victory, 6-man victory, defensive zone. You want to talk about your goalies or different points in the game. If you're on a power play, you're on a penalty kill, and maybe it's a 4-on-3. Everybody's involved in a face-off win. Our head coach, Paul Maurice, talks about it all the time. You need to be on your toes. You need to be ready here when we pre-scout other teams' face-off plays. And we have distinct responsibilities for everybody. We talk about being quickest to the puck. We're going to talk about recovery. Who's going to recover this puck, offensively or defensively? Dirty pucks, creating dirty pucks or second action pucks. We talk about that all the time. Pucks get dropped in different spots. They go off a foot. Somebody ties you up. There's going to be a dirty puck or a second action puck, and we're going to see a few clips on that. But really, face-offs boil down to having that plan for recovery. It's not just about winning it. It's about the plan of what happens when your team gets it or when your team doesn't win this puck. How are you going to recover it? And we're going to see some video of a couple of face-off plays and a couple of face-offs where it's going to look like one team will obviously win this face-off, but one team has a better plan for recovery. So if you can encourage your team about being quicker to the puck and about having a distinct plan for recovery, your team will be a better face-off team. And that plan entails who does what. How do you do it? When do you do it? Okay, I have a couple clips here to show you here, and this is what I'm talking about, being quickest to the puck and this puck recovery. So this is one of the very first games of the season. We're playing against Toronto here. And you're going to see Patrick Laine. I'm sure everybody here has heard of him. But this is early in the season. Patrick Laine hasn't even really played a lot of NHL games. But I know that we drilled in early about these plans for recovery, about being quickest to the puck. And you're going to see here that we're not sure what's happening, who's going to win this face-off. But Patrick is the quickest to the puck, and that allows us. Go ahead, Jordan. There we go. Okay. So right there you can see, and we'll show this clip one more time, Jordan, if you can. However you do it, it's just going to come back. You'll see Patrick. He's the quickest guy to this puck. Patrick gets that puck. That allows us to create the offense. So this next slide you're going to see, this is again us being quickest to the puck. You're going to see here we had a plan for recovery. We understood where their team was lining up. We read the formation of the opponent here, and we're quickest to the puck. This is a clear win for the other team, but our guys are ready. We're doing our job. We're on our toes. We're quickest to this puck. Just by being there, that allows us to set up some offense. So, how do we teach face-offs? Okay, what are the specific details of teaching face-offs? The first one here is just asking your players who are taking face-offs, and you'll notice I won't always just say centerman because we're going to talk about having everybody being able to take face-offs, about reading the dot. Okay, so if you have the dot in a full circle, linesmen and referees, they're human beings. They don't want to get hit. They don't want to get in there and get their hand or top of a dot and get hit. I know this year I got smacked in the eye just doing it and cut, and it's not a fun thing. Referees and linesmen are the exact same thing. So where this linesman's feet are, his hand, as far as he can go over top of a dot, he cannot control the full circle here. So this puck is not going to get on the far side of the circle or the far side of the dot. So we talk about making that dot into a half moon. And that half moon is going to change. The linesman's feet are going to move. The linesman might be on top of this dot. If the linesman is on top of the dot, we ask our centerman to be able to read that, to read where this puck can go. Because if my hand is just where this linesman is right here, it can only go in basically a quarter of this dot. So we want to read that. We want to see where the linesman's hands are. This is an excellent example. One of our young centermen, Andrew Kopp, he's dynamite at this, of reading the ref's hands. So where this linesman's feet are, where he can put this puck, you can see clearly here, his hand cannot reach out over into the middle of the dot. So Andrew is controlling the quarter of the circle here, the quarter of the dot that he knows where this puck is going to be. He's on top of it. He's ahead of the game on this ref, and as this ref puts this puck into the dot, Andrew's ready to control that. So this is an example too. So referees, at least in the NHL, referees don't drop a lot of pucks. Linesmen are usually the officials who put the pucks into play. Referees drop a puck after a goal, and referees drop a puck after to start a period, start a game. So we understand that, and other teams understand that as well. So the circle or the dot, where we're asking our face-off guys to be able to control, that's going to change. So this referee right here, go ahead, Jordan, if you can play this one. Hold it. So hold it. Where he is standing right now, this is where he's going to stop. You see the blue dot. There's absolutely no chance this puck is going to make it into the blue dot. No chance. Nathan McKinnon here, he understands that, and he controls where he wants this puck to be. Go ahead, Jordan. So just by controlling, hold it, just by controlling that, he has a clear win. Now we're going to talk about timing. And these are the details that you can be practicing with your centerman. Timing where the linesman's hands are, timing where the referee's hands are. So same thing. You're going to see where this linesman is lined up. These are two of the best face-off guys in the history of the NHL. This is Mikko Koivu and Claude Giroux. And they're just going to be timing where his hands are. So the motion of the linesman's hands coming up and coming down. At most amateur levels, they usually give it a big show and they throw down. In the NHL, they're pretty good with their timing. And you're just going to see here. Okay, perfect. Minnesota ends up getting recovery on that. Go back and play that one again. If you just watch how his hands are here, Giroux just times this. As his hand comes up and comes back down, that's what they're trying to do. And these are easy skills that you can be working on with your people taking face-offs. Okay? Two of the best guys in the NHL at this. You got Mike Fisher, Ryan Kesler. So actually Fisher here, he's completely controlled the dot that we've just talked about. He's completely controlling the half moon. Actually, this is cheating, which happens nonstop in the NHL game. And you're just going to see here, he just drops his puck, and he times the ref hand. As the ref hands comes back up and back down, Fisher has complete control of this puck. About being responsible for the dot. So we talked about this. You're going to see here, we ask our centerman to be the captain of the dot. We ask our centerman to be responsible for everything. You can go ahead, Jordan. We ask him to know what's happening. So here, Adam Lowry recognizes what's happening here. So he's going to see on the far half wall there, you're going to see that that's a defenseman on the half wall. He's got Arvidsson, who's a right-handed shooter, who's lined up for a shot. Philip Forsberg, who's a shooter right there. So Adam Lowry understands what's happening, and he doesn't allow this to happen. He steps outside the dot. He controls where he wants his partners to go, and he changes the formation. But what happens in this one is Adam steps out. He puts our winger on the half wall. We know where things want to go, and he changes it. So he's the captain of the dot. He's responsible for it. Okay, straight lines. These are the actual techniques of being a face-off guy. So you're going to ask your centermen or your face-off guys to come in, face-off girls to come in, to roll their shoulders back, come in a straight line. You'll see Adam Lowry here does this fantastic in white. His shoulders are straight. You could almost put a hockey stick across the top of his back. He comes in. He makes himself big, gets nice and low, head up and hips down, and his shoulders are back. If you roll your shoulders in when you're taking the face-off, you make yourself small, and your range of motion is actually harder to control. So by making yourself bigger, rolling your shoulder back, taking a breath, stepping in, you have a lot better chance of winning a face-off. And it's all about the small details you can do to give yourself every advantage. The cheating that we saw Fisher do, little details of rolling your shoulders, straight lines, that's important. So this is an excellent example. So you'll see here, this is Ryan Kessler. I think is one of the top 5 guys in the world at this. And Kessler is able to roll his shoulders back. You're going to see him. He physically takes a breath here. Puts his shoulders back, times the ref's hands. That's a clean face-off win. Will you show that one more time? Comes in, watch his shoulders here. He makes himself big, puts his shoulders right back, comes in, times the ref's hand. Bang, that's a face-off win. Okay, protecting the dot. So we're going to see here 2 excellent face-off guys. This is Vermette and Brad Richardson. What happens after we win the face-off? What do you need to do? Well, you need to protect that dot. We talked about second action pucks and dirty pucks. A lot of times there's not a clean win. You need to protect that dot. And you're going to see in this one here, after Richardson wins this, he does it, perfect. He protects that dot. He makes sure that that centerman doesn't get through him. You can roll that one more time, perfect. This is a good win, perfect. He's protecting the dot. Here we go. Kessler again, one more time. He protects it. This is a dirty puck. This is a perfect example of where the pucks, you don't know where they're going to be, but he protects the dot, doesn't allow the Nashville player to get through him, and it's a clean exit for his team. Perfect. Bumping the linesman's foot. Now, this is an advanced skill. This is something interesting. So from the World Cup of Hockey here, I was able to work with Carl Soderberg on Team Sweden. He's a big guy, and he's going against a big guy in Brian Boyle. So we talked about being able to manipulate where you want that puck to go. So this is almost a dirty trick, not really, but it's an advanced trick. If you can work with your centerman on this about just changing the pitch of where this puck is going to go. So you'll see Carl already, he's into this. He has his foot bumped up against the referee's foot, and Carl's foot is going to extend. And by Carl's foot extending here, he's going to change where the referee's hands are going to come. Perfect. Go back. Okay, this is an excellent skill. We work on this one a lot. If you have players at good levels, you can try this. He's just manipulating it where he wants that puck to go. Tampa ends up getting this dirty puck, but Carl did his job right. He moved the linesman's foot and was able to manipulate where that goes. Okay, setting a pick. Your team wins a face-off. This is now a team idea for you here. That after the face-off is won here, your wingers have to help out. All 5 people must help out on these face-offs. We would win this face-off back. Our winger would be able to step in front of anybody on their team. Just a small pick, not an interference. Just by being in the right lane, stepping in front of the opponents, you allow your team to keep possession of the puck. Okay? This clip here, this is going to be an example of all of it takes 5 guys to win this. It takes 5 guys to win. Sometimes in D-zone we talked about involving the goalie, 6 people to win. This is a good example of it. Okay, so we're going to see this is all 5 guys end up touching this puck. There's a little subtle pick by Fiddler. So we'll see this one again. So this is a dirty puck. This dirty puck is created. The left winger recovers this puck. The left winger is first to that puck. You're going to see the right winger is setting a small pick. That's Lappin, sets a small pick. The face-off guy taking the off here, Vern Fiddler, one of the best. After this draw comes back to his team, he's going to step in front and just set a subtle little pick and get in front of him. Just that small little move of being in the right area, that allows his team to keep possession of this puck. Perfect. How do you transfer the importance of face-offs? How do you make face-offs important to your team? So I talked a little bit about it, what we do in Winnipeg. When we're in Winnipeg, we talk about how important that is. It's an important thing daily. I personally track the face-offs for our team, so there's no variables. In the NHL, there's 30 teams, 31 now. That's 31 variables of who is saying is a win and a loss. So we track our own face-offs. We give them to our centerman the next day. This is how we did, and it doesn't change. That standard doesn't change no matter where we are. We don't cheat for our guys. We give a win and a loss. But we make it important. After 10-game segments, we talk about it. We visit. We see how we're doing, how we can get better on all 9 dots, where we're weak, where we're strong. But how does that apply for youth coaches? First thing is you have to make it fun. It has to be important, but it has to be fun. So you can name the face-off plays you want to do, and we're going to look at a couple of face-off plays. You can name them. That makes it a little bit fun. It's actually better if you can let the players do it. Give them the opportunity to name your play. You can have a contest there. Whoever wins the shootout today, or the goalie gets to name it, or whatever you want to do it. And then they get to name the face-off play. And then now you post the face-off plays and do it right. Don't just get a piece of paper and draw it up. Now with technology, you're able to draw stuff. You can post it and laminate it, and everywhere you go, you bring those face-off plays and you put them in your room. And you let the players talk about it. You let the players discuss the responsibilities of it. You just let the players talk about what we need to do and how we need to do it. You just post 2 or 3 face-offs, I would recommend most. And you do it for all the different situations. Do it right. Encourage your guys and girls to read it and understand it and know what their jobs are. And over the course of the year, you can introduce new face-off plays. Have a parent track the face-offs, who's wins. You don't have to worry about all 9 dots in the rink, but have it, make it important, something that you can share with your team. And then if you can post results either the next day or in segments. We're going to talk a little bit about face-off plays, and this morning we're going to go on the ice and we're going to do a couple of face-off plays for you and show you how to do it. Okay, but just to show you the fun thing here, we'll see. This just comes from making it fun. This is from Team Sweden. I tried to incorporate how important face-offs were. One of the guys went on my computer and they put this as our face-off play. So I thought this was great. I'm pretty sure it was Nick Backstrom. And just to say that how fun it actually is. You can make it fun, okay? And it is something fun. But the purpose of a face-off play, there's a couple things you need to talk about. The first purpose is you want to get the puck to the net. This is one of the easiest face-off plays, and don't worry about writing these down because we're going to do some stuff on ice here, but this is one of the easiest ones. This is just a left-handed shot coming off the right half wall. Puck comes back. I call this one a quick strike. Comes through, and you're just bombing the puck to the net. But the idea is you just have to get the puck to the net as quick as you can, okay? You need to create confusion. We're trying to create confusion. This is early on in a game. This is LA against Ottawa. Hold it. You're just going to see here, this puck comes back down the half wall. Again, don't worry about writing these down. We're going to talk about these a little bit later. This puck comes down to the half wall. They're creating confusion amongst Ottawa. This puck is going to get bumped back to the guy in the high slot. Go ahead, and it's just going to be a shot. You create some offense. Okay? You create confusion, and then you do it again. This is later on in the same game, same period. Ottawa might be looking for them to be doing something different. And you just create confusion and you do it again. You got to know what you have, okay? So this is just from the World Championships 2 years ago. Know your horses. That's Patrick Laine. This is before Patrick Laine comes in the NHL. It's a very similar one to the one we saw from LA where it comes to half wall. They bump it back to the high spot. But Patrick Laine is a shooter. So if you know what your horses are capable of doing, you know what your players are capable of doing, and design your plays around that. You want to be creative. One of those same jokers from Sweden got on my computer and they said, this is our new face-off play. I have no idea what this is. But the idea that it was fun and being creative. And you can see that. This is in Detroit where the boards are notorious. And Boston did a great job here. They knew that. Go ahead, press play. And on this face-off, they don't actually end up getting this puck to the net, but they tried to use the end boards. In the NHL, most teams copy each other, and there's not a lot of creativity. But if you're creative in your design in your face-offs, teams that are pre-scouting you, they're going to have a hard time trying to see what you're trying to do. So just be creative. And we're going to go on the ice in a little while and practice face-offs. Everybody needs to practice them. You need all your wingers being able to take face-offs. Your wingers need to learn how to do it. And the best NHL teams, they have protection built into the wings. So I think of teams like Anaheim or Chicago or San Jose, they have guys who take face-offs on their strong side. So you think of guys like Thornton can take them, Marleau can take them, Pavelski can take them, Couture can take them, Ward can take them. All these guys can all take face-offs. That protects your team. It also protects your centerman's energy. So a guy like Thornton doesn't have to take every single face-off in the game. He can conserve his energy and use it later on in the game. It also helps preserve statistics at the high level. So if you're on your strong side, you're better off, you have a better chance of winning face-offs. Technology. We see, here at Team Snap and all these different areas you can use technology to help your team. We'll talk about that today, but you can film your face-offs in practice. You can have somebody with their phone film your practice, how you practice your face-off play, which we're going to do today, and you can email those face-off plays to your kids on your team or the players on your team. This is a face-off play. This is what we're calling this one. This is what it looks like when we do it right. You can have it on your tablet. You can have it on your phone or your laptop, and before games, you can encourage your teams to come in lines. This is a face-off play we're going to do today. And you want to know it on both sides of the ice, and you want to be ready in all situations. At higher levels, if you can have face-off plays from other teams and talk about your responsibilities, talk about that plan for recovery. That's important too. This is just, again, how we do it. This was in Sweden, making it fun, competing. We're laughing. We're having a good time. This is before a really important game. Everyone's having a fun time, but we're competing. When you're in on these pucks, it's teaching these guys how to compete. Okay? Just making things fun. So just before we look at a couple of face-off plays, just some tips on face-offs. Number one, this is a great one for teams, especially at youth levels. If you have face-off plays, draw them ahead of time on your board. If you can have a secondary board, a secondary coaching board, have your plays drawn, bring them to the bench, turn them around backwards so nobody sees. So that work is already done. So if you do have a timeout, you're not wasting 16 seconds of 30 seconds or drawing your face-off play. You already know it. Talk about it between periods. You're going into the third period. You have a chance, your team's at your bench, or if you have an intermission, you can say, hey, we're down a goal. If we need to get a goal late in the game, this is our face-off play. These are your responsibilities. Or, hey, we're up a goal. Defensively, this is what we need to worry about. And talk about it in all situations. 6-on-5. They're going to come at us 6-on-5. This is what we want. Or we're going to be 6-on-5. This is our face-off play. And again, discuss those responsibilities. Always considering what side of the ice that the face-off is going to be on. This last one here, I'm not a math guy. This is how you calculate a face-off percentage. So if you have a player that takes 20 face-offs in a game, you put that into 100, you divide it, and then you times that by how many wins you have, and that's your face-off play. So if you have 20 face-offs and somebody wins 17, that's 85%. That's a couple $1 million in the NHL. Everybody here gets a piece of that one. A couple of face-off plays we're just going to look at here. This first one here, this is just a very common one in the NHL. This is called a short roll. I call it a short roll. Teams will have different stuff. You're just going to see here, one winger is going to come up over top of the circle. The other one's going to drive underneath. And get ready to stop it here, Jordan, when I ask, if you don't mind. So just hold it. Okay, so there's a lot of deception here from Canada. This is against Switzerland. The left defenseman is flared out to the side, trying to draw a winger with him. Right defenseman is going to move, trying to draw there. And what they're doing is they're creating space. In this short roll here, the right winger is driven through, going hard to the net and bringing their defense. So if you can see there, all that white space right there. And that's where Canada is taking advantage of this offense. So this is a short roll. You're just going to see Skinner here. Go ahead. He's going to turn and bomb this one to the net. So the idea is the same. They've created confusion, and they put the puck to the net. The next one. And this is a similar thing. We're going to have one guy over top and one guy coming underneath here. Go ahead. On this one, you're going to see the left winger is going to come underneath, and the inside winger is going to come over top. So we'll show this one again one more time. He comes up over top. The left winger goes hard to the net. They've created confusion. So there the Vancouver centerman actually falls down, but he ends up being open. This is an influence for me from a different sport. And this is a basketball play. It's really like a pick and roll. So what you're going to see here is this is a white team is going to win this. It's Buffalo. They're going to win this face-off. The left winger is going to go up high and come back around. The left D is going to come in and accept this puck and sell like he's going to shoot this. Go ahead. The right D is going to keep moving off to the side. He's going to flare out, hold this. So he gets that winger. The winger's job is to come out up on top of the defenseman. He gets that winger to bite. As soon as that winger drops down to block this shot, he leaves his puck behind him for a little drop pass. Go ahead. And he comes in ready for a shot. We'll show that one more time. And we're going to work on this one today when we're on the ice. He comes in, gets that the winger to bite, and he had a lot of options there. I've seen this play where the centerman will go back to the half wall. In this circumstance, the right D, Bogosian, is going to end up on this side. You can move the puck to him, but we'll talk about that today. The last one we're going to talk about here, I just called this one today the honeymoon. There's a lot of deceiving, a lot of faking going on in this one. That's why it's called the honeymoon. This is a great face-off play. Tampa, one of the best face-off play teams there is. You're going to see they have their lefty. It's Garrison on this side. He's up against the wall. They've got their two wingers lined up in the slot. Montreal is looking to be able to push out and get to the D. Go ahead. As this goes here, you're going to see the two Tampa wingers are going to set a little bit of a pick. Their two guys don't get through to him. Hold it. And instead of shooting Hedman, instead of shooting this, he's just going to put this puck in a small area to Kucherov, and he just gets a shot off. There's no goal here. But we'll see that. Just let it play. It's going to come through in a replay. You'll just see here, this comes back. They set a pick. Radulov does the right thing. He gets out in front of the D, steps in front. He puts that there. So we're going to look at that one today, and we're going to show you how to teach that.